Welcome to We Are PPS, where we sit down and speak with the staff, students, and community partners working to make Pittsburgh Public Schools one of America's premier school districts, student-focused, well-managed, and innovative. I'm your host, Ebony Pugh, and I have the pleasure today of sitting down and speaking with Dr. Bernard Taylor, acting principal at Oliver Citywide Academy. Hello, Dr. Taylor. Thank you so much for sitting down with us today.
Thank you.
So you took over as acting principal at Pittsburgh Oliver Citywide Academy this past September, or we call it OCA, is often referred to. Can you tell us a little bit about OCA's unique school community?
I want to, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to sing the praises of this fine school. Oliver Citywide Academy serves a student population that is different from many schools because it serves students from grades 4 through 12. So it's an elementary, middle, and a high school, which is very unusual. It serves students who have been evaluated through our program for students with exceptionalities, and these are students who have emotional, behavioral issues that make it such that they need to be in a specialized environment where not only do they receive their academic instruction, but they're also receiving mental health and other social services. So it's a unique school. It's a school that is staffed by a dedicated group of professionals who care deeply for these students, and they're meeting their psychosocial needs, their academic needs, and their career and technical needs. So at the end of the day, they're a triple threat. They have a lot on their plate, but the staff of that school works diligently to make sure that these children get what they need, which I think is in keeping with the vision of the Pittsburgh Public Schools.
So as you stated, the students do have unique needs. So how is a student selected or eligible to attend OCA? What kind of unique supports are available at the school?
Well, I mean, these students come to OCA through a rigorous screening process through our program with students with exceptionalities. So it is not like a magnet program. These students are placed at the school. Oftentimes they have been in maybe a special ed classroom, a self-contained classroom in one of our comprehensive elementary, middle, or high schools. They may have been in a magnet program, but because of their needs, the decision is made through the IEP process to place them in a setting like OCA. So OCA is part of the family of schools that serve a specialized population like Conroy and Pioneer. So it is through the IEP process. Now at the school, again, they receive they take many of the same courses as their peers that are in a school like Westinghouse, but they also receive therapeutic services. They also receive social work services. There's case management, not only in terms of their IEP, but in terms of a behavior plan, in terms of a vocational plan that is implemented. So the variety of needs that students present that is codified in their IEP is what determines what type of services they receive, and it's the coordination of services. So you're talking about health services being involved, obviously our counseling and social work department, also our curriculum and instruction department. So it's there are a lot of challenges, but there are far more opportunities for service that, again, the staff, in my estimation, do an exceptional job in meeting the needs of the students.
So you kind of hit a little bit this, but in addition to the supports for psychological supports, they do utilize the district's curriculum, right?
Absolutely.
So it's the same academic program.
Again, I think one thing that we need to dispel as a misnomer is that because these students are there, that they're academically in a place where they need a different level of support than maybe a student in one of our other comprehensive or magnet schools. Some of these students are on grade level, but it's the balance between their academic performance, but also addressing some of the behavioral or the other psychological issues that may manifest themselves. So we have students who may receive autistic support in addition to behavior support, but you have other students who need the behavioral support but are very much on track academically. So it's like I said, it's a unique challenge, but it really shows how capable the staff has to be to meet each student where that student is. And so it's, as I said, it's I don't want to use the word challenge. I want to use the word, it's an opportunity for service for anybody who is affiliated with that school.
You mentioned the staff, and I want to just touch on that a little bit about the staff at the school. Are there special certifications required of staff at the program? What's unique about the staff at OCA?
Well, I mean, I think that the certification process is similar for any teacher who is obviously who provides services to our students who have exceptionalities. So they are certified more than likely in some level of special education. They have to have a grade span that's a little bit different than others because many of them are K-12 certified in special education. Some are certified to specifically work with students who have emotional support needs. So most are certified that way. But it's the amount of additional training that many of these people have taken upon themselves voluntarily to get involved in. So many of the things that the district offers in terms of conflict resolution, that type of training, this staff has participated in. There is a lot of work around positive behavior intervention supports. So that part is something that they have received specialized training in. Crisis intervention, strategizing. Again, these are things that they need to be adept about because of the nature of the student population. So not only are they certified to meet the academic needs of students, but it's the additional work that they do to stay abreast of the techniques and strategies that they need to be aware of in order to better support these students emotionally and from a psychosocial perspective.
So this past September, the tragic assault of a teacher occurred at the school that truly shook the school community that was still reeling after the loss of a student to gun violence earlier this year. Both very difficult
Absolutely.
And tragic incidents. How are the students and staff coping, and what supports are in place to facilitate healing?
I think that unfortunate incident also showed me the depth of support that this district can extend to a school almost instantaneously. I think it's important to note that incident is tragic and unfortunate, and what makes it tragic and unfortunate is that it didn't involve a student that the staff had extensive history with. And I think that it's important to make that notation because the teachers and the staff as a whole there know their student population. They invest the time to get to know students. So I just think it's important to state that what happened did not involve a student that had been at the school for an extensive amount of time or that they did not have knowledge of. So that's something I hope people really take to heart when they think about this school, because both situations that you mentioned had nothing to do with the students that staff has built rapport with. It had nothing to do with that. But the district, when those things happen, the support that was received, for example, by Dr. Netshai and his staff in terms of having people come out to make sure that if staff and students needed help in terms of employee assistance or anything, that was done instantaneously. I want to especially commend Chief Brown and our security staff, the resident security staff, because Chief Brown, his first concern was the safety of students and staff, and he made sure that the school had what it needed to maintain that type of environment. But what he did additionally is he sent people who are well suited to work in that environment. I have watched his staff build rapport with students such that they're going to security staff to ask for help. And when security staff has to intervene, the level of respect that is extended to them but that the staff extends to the students makes a huge difference. I can't say enough about the support we received from Chief Brown. From our facilities department, I mean, they come out, we've had good conversations about what do we need to fine tune how we can better manage the movement of students. Everybody who came out, from Mr. McNamara, from some of his lieutenants, they have all been very attuned to what is in the best interest of students, but also how we can make the building more safe and secure. From our special ed team, led by Ms. Camper. Ms. Camper was new in her position, but in terms of the program officer support we've received, from the individuals who have really come up, I want to really sing the praises of Ms. Bova Funk and Ms. Clynetta Jackson, who work around the issues around social and emotional learning. But they've come and looked at not only that from the perspective of what students need, but what staff needs. I have to call out, again, we've received so much support, but I want to also say to Ryan Eldridge, now he's in charge of physical education, but he came out on very short notice with Ms. Jackson and Ms. Bova Funk, and they put together a staff wellness day. And it was engaging, and everybody had fun, and it helped everybody relax. And that's the kind of response from this district that I know happens not just in a crisis, but when people are focused on what's in the best interest of students and staff.
So that incident, as you noted, around knowledge and knowing a student, prompted some changes at the school. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us about some of the steps that have taken to strengthen the safety protocols at the school?
Well, I think the most important thing is that we have looked at how we look at student movement, how we look at where staff is in the building. For example, some parts of the building have been locked off where no one is in a position where they're really away from the main flow of the building. We are looking at, for example, where the elementary and middle school wing is located. That gives an example of it's a perfect prototype for how the high school floor should also look too. I think, again, you do want to, when you have younger children in the building, of course you're more attuned to making sure, that you have really focused on making that line of separation. Even here, we're in Westinghouse, so obviously the middle school is in a more self-contained area than the high school. That makes sense. But it's the same type of logic in that type of building. It's reducing the footprint, but still allowing for the fact that as a facility, it offers benefits to all the students there that they need to capitalize on in order for the program to work. But from securing doors, from looking at what we need to do to make sure that we know who's entering and who's entering and when they're entering and when they leave, we have a better way of focusing on that. The other thing, though, that has been a really good benefit is the students now have a better sense of why, when certain things are asked of them, they understand why we're asking.
Okay. Yes, and I know you also got additional security added to your security off guards added to the facility as well.
Yes, and again, the
you talked about how benefit.
The benefit of that is, am I grateful that they're here? Exactly. I hope I'm making this plain that they go beyond. They're more than security. They're an extra layer of support for students. And I can't sing their praises enough. I cannot, because I can be here right now because I know they're holding it down, not only from their official job responsibility, which is security, but it's relationship and rapport with students.
Well, you might have a little bit, but how has the safety measures, or even the additional, as you said, support from staff impacted the school community?
I think what has happened is that I think the staff, particularly in a school like this, I think that they can feel that they're an island unto themselves. I think that we also have to work with the students to help them understand that there's this feeling that because they're at OCA, that there must be something wrong with me. And the staff does a great job of imploring to these students that you're at OCA so we can help you move on to returning to your home school. Or even if you need to stay here, you don't have to be here all the time. We have students, for example, that are participating in CTE programming. We have students who spend part of their day at OCA, but then they're going off to work. I don't know that people know that. But what we have to help the students understand is this is not a permanent condition. This is a temporary step along the way. And it's exciting. We have a young man who is going to transition back at the start of the second semester. Those are the quiet successes that the school enjoys that maybe we don't have a big celebration about it, but it is a victory. But the other piece that I think people don't understand is they're not just sent back and saying, okay, little bird, fly. They still get support from the school. The OCA staff is still going to check on that student. When they go to CTE, somebody from OCA is going to check on that student and to advocate for that student if that student is in need of additional support. So I'm not sure that people understand that that's what's happening here. And that's why I can't say enough about what the staff at that school does, because they're quiet heroes, and I'm not sure that we need to be as quiet about them being heroes as maybe we've been in the past.
Well, yeah, which is not unusual. You have a very passionate staff, and we have passionate staff across the district.
Absolutely.
But we definitely are thankful and grateful for the work that you and the staff at OCA are doing to support this unique population of students. And just thank you for that. We just want to thank you guys for that.
Listen, I think I've learned a lot in a very short period of time. But the thing I've learned the most, and the thing, but man, it's so nice to see when you see people pouring their heart, their soul, and their intellect into students. I've been there a short period of time, and I try to say, don't get attached. Just be dispassionate. Just, this is it. You're here, and that's what it is. But you just get reeled in by these kids. I mean, you really do. You just get reeled in, and as educators, that's really what it should be about. That you feel that it's important to make sure that these kids get what they need every day. So okay. we went through a trial, but we're now moving on to triumph. So that's what we have to
like
do.
that, from trial to triumph. Well, we'll leave on that note. That's a great note to leave on. Thank you again for being with us, and we look forward to everyone joining us again for another We Are PPS podcast. Thank you so much.